Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News, and welcome to Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. This is Zach Shellcross's season. It's week 4. I take notes. I read them back to you. No jump cuts, no edits, just me, you guys, and we'll see where we go. All right, let's jump right into it. First scene of the day, Jesse Palmer announces that they're going to the Bahamas. You'd think that he gave them all $1 million. You know what I mean? It looks like supermarket sweeps. It looks like Jesse Palmer is the guy on Black Friday at Walmart who has to unlock the doors and everyone's running for the TVs, which, by the way, on Black Friday, they make inferior products, so you're actually buying a worse product at a lower price. Don't go shopping on Black Friday. All right, the women are just excited to get out of the house. They do the influencer promo tour, jumping on the bed, sitting in a dry tub. We see all that, which, by the way, if you've never traveled with an influencer before, I'm telling you, it's painful. You know, you show up, you try to kick your feet back in the hotel. They're like, no, don't touch anything. I haven't done the room tour yet. And you're like, I'm about to blow up the bathroom because I was on a 15-hour flight to Indonesia. So the women all go onto the porch. They yell, Zach! You know, someone from the pool below yells, shut the hell up, Americans! And then they call Zach the snack. If Zach is a snack, he's rice cakes, which is totally serviceable. It's full of carbs. All right, first date card goes to Kat. How deep is your love? And, of course, all the other women are upset. They're like, I didn't get the first date, whatever. And everyone reads into it, and they feel bad. So all of that good Bahamian energy has now gone to waste. And Zach is so the first date goes to Kat. How deep is our love? And then Zach the snack. That's really a question she should be asking you, Zach. How deep is your love? That's something we haven't found out yet. Greer cries because she didn't get the date. She's upset. Kat and Zach do a little catamaran canoodling, as they do. Zach says Kat is digging his well-groomed chest hair, which is a green flag in his book. So Zach very happy for his hairy chest. Kat says it's nice to feel wanted, and it's like, no offense, Kat. Who in previous relationships did not want you? Please, let us interview them. What was wrong with them? So back at the resort, the women are lounging in the pool, tanning their butt cheeks, as they do. Meanwhile, Zach's sucking face. Anastasia says she is spiraling because she's seeing he has a core group that she isn't it. So meanwhile, Zach's having a ton of fun, and Anastasia begins the ruminating that usually ends in a demise. The group date is announced, and we see Greer is on it. So, of course, that means no one-on-one time, so Greer is upset about that. Meanwhile, Zach takes Kat to the evening portion of their date. I'll go backwards there. And probably to stare at their food and discuss their childhood trauma. That's what they do. Again, I take these notes before we actually, I don't edit them. So, like, I'm telling you what I saw in the moment. So sometimes we get a little too much. Kat mentions her relationship with her mom was so bad, there was a time she didn't live at home. She wants a traditional family, a husband she stays with the rest of her life. And I'm like, well, listen, I don't know if Bachelor's the right track record for you there. You don't want a husband you stay with for 3 to 6 months. So I think Kat is my wife's favorite. My wife was gushing over Kat. She watches kind of like, she'll be on her TikTok, and then she'll be like, oh, who's that? I like that person, Kat tells Zach he makes it easy for her to open up emotionally. Then the fireworks go off, and the other women go, damn it, she got fireworks. Yeah, you never want to be in the house with all the other ladies when the fireworks are going off, because you're like, those fireworks do not mean the relationship's not going well. All right, so then we go on the group date, an island beach party with some locals and a steel drummer. Not bad in my book. This sounds like fun. They have mounds of rice. Did you see that? Just mounds of, you gotta love a good mound of rice. They eat conch fritters, amazing Bahamian dish. Gabby can't eat the shellfish, so her allergy is keeping her away from Zach. They do the limbo. Anastasia asks for a kiss, and he makes her give him one on the cheek. That was the first right. She was like, can I get a kiss? And he's like, park it right there, sister. Called her a sister. Clearly, he didn't say that. Clearly, because it's in front of the group, but still, it's a diss. This angers the other women. They're like, how dare Anastasia kiss her boyfriend in front of us? The typical who had enough one-on-one time during a group date fight happens in the evening. Zach, okay, so we got to go back. Zach reassures Kate. Oh, so this happened right here. I don't know where it is in my notes. Kylie goes up to Anastasia and is like, can I steal him for a second? And then Anastasia's like, how about 1 more minute? And then she's like, I don't want to have to fight you or anything. That's not what she said. But she's like, I'm not looking for a fight. And then Anastasia leaves and she's like, she was going to fight me. I felt attacked. And it's like, what are we doing here? Folks, what are we doing? And Zach probably didn't do a good job moderating that. He's probably, in the people pleaser mode. He should have been like, all right, your time's up. If he really wanted to be fair, he'd have a stopwatch. All right, you get 90 seconds. Make the most of it. So Zach reassures Katie and Jess that they're being thought about. Zach tells Jess to stay strong and trust what they have. Charity says she's surprised at how straightforward Zach is, and then they smooch poolside. So lots of smooching happening. There's Gabby smooching, even though he had shellfish. Hopefully he brushed his teeth. Gabby tells Zach she had a dream about him, so that's how she knows she likes him. Zach is reassuring a lot of women. Yeah, there's a lot of women here where Zach's going like, hey, look, don't worry, trust in the process. And it's like, a dozen women are all saying that they trust in the process. So clearly 11 out of those 12 are not going to be too happy. Kylie says, I don't want to make tonight about Anastasia. And that's when things go wrong. When Kylie's like, I don't want to make tonight about Anastasia, that's basically going to be the centerpiece of this whole episode. Kylie tries to steal Zach from Anastasia. So we got that part. And so what Kylie said was, just let me have him. I don't like to fight, but please. And then Anastasia tells the woman she felt attacked. Kylie tells Zach she was nervous. Then Kylie says, this is all so very hearsay. Doesn't this feel like every conversation you have with someone about conspiracies? Hey, this is all very hearsay. Actually, most people say things as if they're fact and don't say that they're hearsay. At least Kylie had the thought there to say, hey, just so you know, this is like third person down the list here. She says, Anastasia always talks about all the Instagram followers she's going to get. So Kylie didn't even hear this firsthand. And I thought this was producers prodding this convo. So now Detective Zach finds out that Charity heard it. Then he talks to Charity. Charity says she overheard it. Detective Zach pulls Anastasia aside, tells Anastasia that he was told she is there for fame. She says she's shocked. I believe Anastasia here. She looks pretty shocked. He goes, are you here for me? She's like, what are you talking about? And first of all, we have to remember, it's not are you here for me versus are you here for the wrong reasons? There's always layers of reasons. When we look back at Thomas on Katie's season, he was kind of like very, I don't know, upfront and saying, yeah, if this didn't work out with Katie, I'd be the Bachelor. I'd go for the Bachelor. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And then everyone goes, Thomas wants to be the Bachelor. He's not there for Katie. And once you lose that trust, you can understand why Katie or Zach would look at that situation and go, I don't trust you anymore. And it's like, I had nothing to do with it. What did Anastasia have to do with it? She's having a Wetzel's pretzel at the airport saying, basically telling the other women, look, I know how this works. I've worked with brands before. You're going to get about 50,000 followers. You'll be able to maximize that and make some money. These are women that a lot of times are in between jobs or have left their jobs. I think it's complete hogwash. But also, look, if Zach can't understand that, do you want to marry a guy that can't understand that you can make some money on social media in a post-capitalistic hellscape? All right. So Detective Zach is doing his work. He says, I believe her. She says she's talked with the other women about brands she has worked with and offered to connect them. So Anastasia has offered to help other women out in the house. And because of that, she's the bad person here. No good deed goes unpunished, Anastasia. So she has a great answer. She says she's really proud with what she has done with her career and is upset that it was twisted. Anastasia goes back to the group, clearly dejected. Anastasia wasn't upset. She was like, had her trust violated, and it's in the most edited way possible. Zach says he needs time to think about things. I don't know. If I was there with Zach, I'd be like, Zach, get over it. Help her with her influencer. If you guys are going to get married, you're going to be, doing this type of stuff, So let me tell you something. The next time I see Zach doing a sponsored Instagram post, I'm going to have to call him out. And I like Zach, but I think this is such a stupid argument. Anastasia says it was taken out of context. So anyway, my thought was if it was so bad and so sinister that the production would have captured it on camera and that they would have all shown it, and that they didn't show it because it wasn't that bad. And of course, now we know it was a conversation that happened at the airport, which is where they never film. Zach gives the group date rose to Ariel after a solid makeout session. So they blow on each other's conch. Brooklyn. Okay, so now we're going to have a little bit of a trigger warning here for the conversation that happens with Brooklyn regarding DV, domestic issues. Brooklyn goes on a one-on-one with Zach. And I say domestic issues. I hope you understand. I'm not trying to make light of it. There's just certain words when you say them together on YouTube, it flags the video and then no one gets to watch them. And then what's the point of talking about tough situations if no one gets to be a part of that? I hope you guys understand that. So DV, domestic issues. Apparently, so anyway, that'll come up in a second. Brooklyn goes on a one-on-one date with Zach while the ladies discuss Anastasia back at the pool. Apparently, so now they go back and they say they heard Anastasia talking about gaining 50,000 followers. I feel like Anastasia just mentioned it as a matter of fact. Yeah, statistically speaking, you're probably going to gain about 50,000 at this point, and this is what you're going to be able to do with it. And of course, Anastasia works as an influencer into like a Instagram like social media manager, so she knows these things. So good chats, good kisses. They say then say she gave him. Okay, so Brooklyn and Zach have a nice chat, then they make out, and then she gives him the fist pound, and he goes, oh, the knucks after a kiss. I think every fantasy suite should end with a fist pound, like good game, good match, good set. They have a really great date. After making fun of her fist pump, she says, hey, that's what best friends do. Brooklyn opens up about a past relationship that had gotten physical, so they have that conversation. Very nice for the show to actually have trigger warnings on their, not only their Instagram, but also on the show itself. The following segment contains materials about DV. Viewer discretion is advised, and they also listed the National DV Hotline, which provides free confidential support. So there it is right there for anyone who needs the hotline. And of course, we have our community, the Dave Neal's community, which is essentially about 92% women who, have conversations. If there's a community you want to be a part of, we have that on Facebook. That's free, not promoting it for any monetary gain. So they have a great date, and then Brooklyn opens up about a past relationship that got physical. Let's go back to the Brooklyn photo, and she gets emotional discussing her journey. Zach does, and says all the right things, I believe, calls her so tough and that he's sick to his stomach that she had to go through that. And again, there really isn't much else to comment other than it's important that the show has these conversations versus all the lovey-dovey things that are out there, because as we know, statistically, the most dangerous man in a woman's life is her partner, because so much of so many issues come from the people that you know, whether it's your partner or your father or someone in your family. So many times those are where you have the biggest problems. So it's not just always some random crazy man lurking in an alleyway. And so many people stay in hellscape situations because they're, controlled or manipulated with financial reasons or security or, so many different ways that can be controlled. I just watched that documentary on Hulu. Did you guys see this one of the cult that happened at Sarah Lawrence College? Holy hell. Just wild out there. Jaw-dropping. How, anyway. So Zach gives Brooklyn a rose. And then we're going to get back into the surface level drama, but that was a very powerful moment on the show for them to have that conversation and for her to open up. So we go back. Last group chat before the rose ceremony, Zach pulls Anastasia aside to see how she's feeling. She says it sucked that Zach had any doubt about her, but that she needs to just reiterate that it didn't come from her, that she didn't come there for anything but Zach. And Gabby says it sucks starting another night off on a negative note. And I say, blame Kylie, right? You know what I mean? Not to be hard on Kylie, but she is kind of like the catalyst to this. Everyone says, well, Anastasia shouldn't have talked about that. It hasn't been proven to me that anything she said was out of the norm. This is 2023. This is the world we live in. You make money off of your social media. Zach says he can't discredit the other woman who told him that. Then Zach walks her down the stairs and she says bye to the girls who all walked shocked. Did I miss the breakup? They went from zero to breakup so fast. Then Kylie says, I never wanted to be the cause of someone going home. It's like you brought it up to him. Kylie, first of all, Anastasia didn't even say this to you. So you hate to say it, but this technically was none of Kylie's business. This was Charity's place to talk about it if she was the one who overheard it. Not to mention, where are the other women sticking up for Anastasia that were talking to her? Was if Anastasia, and I'm just using this as an example, if she was talking to Katie about Instagram and the ins and outs, wouldn't it be nice if Katie was like, no, it was taken out of context, but no one really stuck up for Anastasia as far as we saw. So she says she was completely manipulated and lied about. She would rather be a crazy bee than have her integrity questioned like that. Zach is taking no prisoners. He addresses the woman, says the bigger picture is finding love, and then asked to talk with Charity, and I kind of wish some of the other women would have stuck up for her. Then we have a montage of all the women getting their last connections in with Zach, and Davia is panicking because she hasn't spoken with Zach. Then they make out. So I'm like, all right, I guess Davia is fine. Jesse Palmer shows up to the end of the cocktail party, and then we see no rose for Davia. She doesn't know how their connection disappeared so quickly. She's second-guessing how it ended so abruptly. Also no rose for Genevieve, and then Zach announces they are heading to London, and that's where we stand. If you you want to join me for extra bonus content, I'm going to be talking more about this on Bachelor Rush Hour, my podcast, this afternoon. We keep rising in the ranks to number 6 in entertainment news. Just about everyone's giving us a 5-star review, unless it's somebody who wants to call me names. So most of my reviews are, love the daily short bites. I'm hooked on this quick daily info. And then some people call me libtards. So typical liberal, that's what I was called. But everyone else feels an insatiable need for Bachelor gossip. Love that it's also daily. That's right. Every single day, we've got extra bonus content for you. I'll also be live on the Patreon at 10 a.m. this morning, patreon.com/Dave Neal. So link in the comment section to listen to Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast, and I will be back with more content right after this.